A good evening once again. Thank you for joining us for the 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight with I, Wadulo Arnold Mack and Dorothy Namuyomba. Without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. In our headlines tonight, Archbishop Kazimba pleads with President Museveni to forgive retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye. Furthermore, Speaker of Parliament Anita Among rallies Northern Uganda politicians on wealth creation programs. Family members of Dr. Kizza Besigye and some doctors demand Dr. Besigye's release on account of his health. And in sports, Uganda Woodball Federation holds its extraordinary congress. Once again, thank you for joining us. We now give you the news in detail. The 38th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union officially opened at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia under the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparations. This theme addresses historical injustices and lasting aftermath on the African continent. Her Excellency the Vice President Jessica Alupo represented President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and joining over 35 head of state and government and a number of senior government officials in the respective countries. The Vice President was accompanied by the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, John Mulimba, Uganda's Ambassador to Ethiopia, Rebecca Otengo, Uganda's military attaché to Ethiopia, Colonel Fred Zache, and a number of Ugandan officials from the African Union and Ugandan Embassy in Addis Ababa. In his opening remarks, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Abiy Ahmed, called upon African nations to strengthen unity for sustainable development. His Excellency Abiy emphasized that Africa's pursuit of justice for historical damages should not be misrepresented as a request for aid. He said that in a world marked by dynamic change, Africa is faced by a magnitude of uncertainties calling for strengthening protective goals, resilience, and foster unity across the continent. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in his speech read for him by his Under-Secretary General, said that the partnership between the United Nations and African Union has never been stronger, and collectively they can see Africa brimming with hope and possibility. The leaders of African Union countries on Saturday elected a new chief for the branch that runs the organization's daily operations in Djibouti, Foreign Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, as the next chair of the African Union Commission in a secret ballot. Yusuf, who celebrated his 60th birthday a week ago, defeated Kenya's former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and former Foreign Minister of Madagascar Richard Randrimandra. The selection took 8 rounds of voting. He replaces Musa Faki Mahamat of Chad, who served 2 terms as the African Union's commissioner. Yusuf has been Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Djibouti since 2005. Now, all 55 member states, with the exception of 6 countries that were suspended from membership, took part in the summit. Meanwhile, Angolan President João Manuel Lourenço took the rotating African Union chairmanship, replacing Mauritian President Mohamed Ould Sheikh. And now bringing you back to Uganda, thousands of Christians have celebrated the 48th Janan Luwum Day at his ancestral home in Muchwin ceremonial grounds in Kitgum district. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who was represented by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, described Janan Luwum as a great leader, while the clergy, led by Archbishop His Grace Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, encouraged the Christians to emulate Janan Luwum. Our reporter Philip Aguta has more details.
Every 16th of February, the Anglican Church and the faithful celebrates Janan Luwum Day after it was gazetted by Parliament to be a public holiday. The The Anglican Church headquarters from England also recognized Janan Luwum, who was the third Archbishop, as martyr for his great contributions to the development of Anglican Church in Uganda, DRC, Rwanda and Burundi. Janan Luwum was killed in 1977 for being critical of the then government of Idi Amin Dada. At Muchwini Ceremonial Grounds in Kitigum District, the church service kicked off at exactly 9 a.m. with a procession of bishops and the Mothers' Union. The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend His Grace Stephen Kazimba Mugaru, was the main celebrant, with the Bishop of Ankole Diocese, the Most Reverend Sheldon Mwesigwa, as the preacher. In his sermon, Kazimba called on government to consider releasing retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besje from Luzira prisons on the grounds of poor health that will show heart of forgiveness, just like Janan Luwum did.
We promote peace, dialogue, and forgiveness, even to those who really need our prayers, like Dr. Besje, Chiza Besje, and other politicians, where we need to consider their health conditions and extend forgiveness as we remember Luwum, the peacemaker.
The two men of God also encouraged Christians to remain faithful and emulate the resilience exhibited by Janan Luwum.
Third, Luwum's heart of love and dedication to Acholiland and Uganda was very clear in his sermons in UK.
We should not lose our humanism in wanting to be elected or to win elections. Let us be Ugandans. Let us be united. Let us promote a peace of forgiveness, a heart of forgiveness and reconciliation and dialogue. I appreciate the government of Uganda for gazetting today, 16th February, as a public holiday to commemorate our hero, Archbishop Janan Luwum. Let us appreciate that.
President Museveni, who was meant to be the chief guest, delegated the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja to represent him. In his speech read to the congregation of believers, Museveni described Janan Luwum as a true and great leader.
He will be regarded as a torch-bearer for those that have stood up to truth, liberty, peace, and patriotism. Archbishop Janan Luwum will ever be remembered and celebrated as one of those most influential leaders in his time, not by just spiritual position or words, but more so by taking action and walking the talk.
The Prime Minister Nabanja delivered 30 million shillings as Museveni's contribution towards the day, and the wreath which was laid on the grave housing the remains of Janan Luwum.
The president gave me 30 million and he told me to bring it here. He's aware that government already contributed 400 million, but this is from his heart, personal. And allow me to give it to the Bishop of Kitugu. He talked about buying cows. You will ask him what he meant.
The Chief Justice Alfonso Winidolo urged the people of Acholi to forgive the killers of Janan Luwum and others.
My Lord, Your Grace, the Archbishop, you spoke today the language Janan Luwum would want to hear. You speak the language which the then widow of Janan Luwum spoke here before she was called by the Lord. I'm asking our religious leaders, I'm asking our political leaders, let us seize that momentum. Let us seize that momentum. We went with Milton Obote's son, Honorable Akena Jimmy, and a host of other leaders. Uganda needs us to speak to one another.
The political leaders from the area commended the government for funding the Janan Luwum Day, but tasked the government to fence Kidepo National Park and tarmac the Kitigum Karenga Road.
Within time, but I know among them there is an issue of fencing of Kidepo National Park that we discussed, and you are meant to chair a meeting, and that is something that the community is also anxiously waiting for our intervention. Secondly, the issue of the road, the tarmacking of Kitgum Karenga, the Kidepo Road, is among the issues that the LC5 wanted to present.
The 48th Janan Luwum Day was celebrated under the theme Imitating God's Goodness by Doing Good, and was attended by over 10,000 faithfuls, including ministers, members of parliament, and cultural leaders. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kitigum.
And furthermore, the Minister of State for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has reaffirmed government's commitment to improve land ownership and management in Uganda. He was speaking at the Harvest Money Expo 2025 at Mandela National Stadium here in Ambole.
A major highlight was the systematic land adjudication and certification program, which enables free land registration to secure ownership rights and reduce disputes. He urged farmers, investors and developers to embrace these reforms, emphasizing that a transparent land system will drive economic growth and social equity in Uganda.
The government has introduced innovative digital solutions. The online land search functionality, a system that has revolutionized the way land transactions are conducted in Uganda, is now in place. This digital tool provides instant access to accurate land ownership information, allowing citizens, investors, and business to verify land titles and property details seamlessly without the need for lengthy visits to land offices.
Meanwhile, Minister Mayanja explained the decentralization of land registration services to 22 ministries' zonal offices to ease access for Ugandans.
This decentralization brings services closer to the people, reducing the burden of long travel and ensuring that citizens can easily access services such as land registration, title assurance, and dispute resolution. By doing this, we are not only saving time and money for Ugandans, but also building trust and efficiency into the land management process.
Dr. Sam Mayanja emphasized the online land search system and a digital innovation that enhances transparency in land transaction by allowing instant verification of land ownership.
The online land search system is part of a broader effort to modernize and transform Uganda's land management systems. Alongside this, the government has introduced other innovations, such as the online mortgage submission system, which simplifies access to financial support for property acquisition, and the online valuation system, which streamlines the process of property valuation, ensuring timeliness and accuracy.
Benon Mokwaya, Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
As Uganda prepares for the 2026 general elections, youth have been employed to participate in different elective positions. With its high young population, Uganda has high level of unemployment amongst its youth, with many of whom are positioning themselves to take advantage of the key gaps in the political space to survive. Lenia Charity, the 25th Vice Guild President of Makerere Business School, is one of such youth with a chance to represent the people of Vura County in Arua District.
Flagged by many, Lenia has positioned herself before the electorate to serve her people. She appeals to fellow graduates to inspire many of school-going children and the parents in her village. Lenia celebrated her Thanksgiving Mass with her old school and university peers to showcase the fruits of education.
It should not even be for the girl child. It should be for the people of Vura, for the parents. What does it mean for the parents? What does it mean for the boys and girls? What does it mean for the community at large? It shows that education is very imperative, because at the end of the day, when you're studied and learned, your thinking capacity runs far, because it gives you an opportunity to grow and thrive. It gives you an opportunity to learn so many things that you did not know, because at the end of the day, through education, you're researching, you're interacting, you're networking. At the end of all this, you're going to understand challenges that you did not know that even existed.
The main celebrant, the parish priest, Holy Rosary Catholic Parish, Lojiri, Father Charles Ranga, challenged leaders and graduates from Vura County to emulate Lenia and thanked her parents for supporting her education. Father Charles Ranga said Lenia as a youth presents her ability in leadership, and as a church, they will pray for her success.
I thank all the people who have gathered here. In a special way, I want to continue to thank Lenia Charity and congratulate her in her successful completion of education. I also want to pray for her that as she is aspiring to stand as Member of Parliament, that she may be able to also do what is right, not to make empty promises.
He, however, decried the poor government social infrastructure in the area, saying hundreds of the pupils at Kateleke Primary School, where the celebrations took place, study under the trees, which he said is a shame to leaders whose presence in the area is scarce. He asked well-wishers and Christians to support the new church expansion project. Lenia articulated a wide range of challenges faced by Vura County, which she said has made her offer herself to the people to represent them in the 12th Parliament.
Young people have the potential to lead. We have the potential to represent. And because I say this, I say it out of pain. I've realized the challenges in Vura, and I believe that one of the things that is lacking is meaningful representation in Vura. And that is what I want to bring to my people, and that is why today I'm standing. And I believe that is why very many young people are standing.
I've come here in this district to support my fellow youth, Lenia Charity. She's contesting for woman MP, and we have come here to show her support, so that we don't blame anyone years to come. We support each other to see we take upon leadership positions of our country, because the future of this country is in our hands.
The guest of honor, Professor Sarah Sali, the director of Institute of Gender and Development Studies, Makerere University, asked the people of Vura County to utilize Lenia in leadership.
And as we were driving here, we saw many women carrying cassava on their heads, which is peeled. And I was talking to the people in the camp saying, how about if we had agro-processing to complete the whole value chain for cassava, in that we would have the researchers who tell us the right cassava to plant, the farmers would plant the cassava, we would have a factory for peeling, but also for processing it. We make starch. Starch is the biggest binder in medicines, and Germany really loves starch.
Benon Mokwaya, Kalicia Stephen, UBC News.
The Ministry of Health has pledged to waive taxes on orthopedic and orthotics products and devices. The Acting Commissioner for Disability and Rehabilitation in the Ministry of Health, Andrew Mwanguzi, while at the Insol Orthotics 10th anniversary celebrations in Kawempe, made these remarks.
Many people suffer from muscle, joint and bone injuries, with the majority succumbing to permanent injuries, and this is caused by accidents of any nature. This created a need for treatment options and the condition required specialists. This raising concern prompted Isaac Nuwamanya to seek knowledge overseas to specialize in physiotherapy.
I saw a gap in the assistive technology of our country. We could need things, and most of them, the easiest way to get it was to reach for them in Nairobi. There was none in Kampala. And the few that were there, you would find them only in the pharmacies, mostly these wholesalers.
Upon his return home, Isaac Nuwamanya started Inso Orthotics Limited to treat muscles, joints, bones and other ailments. Nuwamanya asserts that the process helps to treat a number of conditions.
So amongst those products, maybe people what they would know is the support braces for the knees, for back supports for people with back pain, neck supports for people with neck pain, wheelchairs. In that it comes prosthesis. That means people who have no limbs, upper limbs, that's the legs, the arms or the legs.
Speaking at the 10th anniversary celebrations of Inso Orthotics Limited, the Acting Commissioner for Disability and Rehabilitation from the Ministry of Health commended the dedicated services to Ugandans.
They have improved the access to these assistive devices of all sorts and of quality, which Ugandans will not be able to get because we don't produce them here. We produce like very few, like wheelchairs, like a few crutches which are locally made, but these are standard international devices. So
Isaac Nuwamanya was dismayed at the concessions he has encountered in serving the citizenry, included taxes levied on imported medical products.
We were ambitious, we wanted to start making some of these things here. But the policies and the taxes that are levied on raw materials and the cost of running business here when you put in electricity and other bills, it's unsustainable. It's there in the law. I know that these products that are supposed to be helping people, mostly the physically handicapped, in the SDGs and according to World Health Organization, they are supposed to be exempted. But as I speak right now, I have a consignment that has been held and levied all taxes.
However, Commissioner pointed out that the government will waive taxes on imported medical products, urging those in the medical field to procure and use local products.
Tax is a national obligation, but when you import for business, of course you pay tax. But only when you import for charity, when you are going to give free of charge, that's when we can negotiate or we can recommend you to Uganda Revenue Authority, because under the law of Uganda and East Africa as a region, if you are providing devices for persons with disabilities, there is that allowance of tax exemption.
Ugandans were also tipped to participate in sporting and co-curricular activities.
Involved in sports. In our professions, we are treating patients with non-medicinal therapy, okay, through exercises and also other activities. So this is an evidence of what we do. You find a physiotherapy complaining of back pain. You find an orthopedic technologist complaining of back pain, muscle pain. That is impossible. So we started to bring out such activity of football, engagements, fostering collaboration.
The celebrations climaxed with a highly competitive football tournament for occupational therapists, orthopedic technologists, orthopedic officers, physiotherapists, and orthopedic technologists scooped the trophy and awards. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Islamic University of Uganda has initiated $1 million project to educate over 250 personnel to handle learners at primary school level. The rector of Islamic University of Uganda, Professor Ismail Jagenda Sibwa, says that the initiative follows Ministry of Education and Sports guidelines that by 2030 all teachers handling students in classes must have acquired a degree.
The Islamic University in Uganda organized an IUIU dinner to raise funds to improve the education system in the institution. The rector of Islamic University in Uganda, Professor Ismail Jagenda Sibwa, says the initiative is a support to government policy on education.
we must strengthen our mobilization efforts so that we start dreaming big to do $1 million campaign.
The Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, Sharifa Bozeki, said that Islamic University in Uganda should try and change the morals of all students who go through the institution.
We need to do more in offering professional advice, in opening doors to opportunities, and leading by example.
The chairman organizing committee, Bashir Sejemba, said they came up with a theme, rekindling bonds, building dreams, unleashing alumni potential for better, with the aim to look ahead and how the challenges could be addressed in a short period of time and move forward.
So by that trust we have tried to approach people and they have given in their money. They have given in their money, and because we had a cause, that's why we are organizing the dinner, it had to come out.
The world has evolved. What men can do, women can do. What we should do is to empower the culture.
First instance is targeting members of
Benon Mokwaya, Richard Chirembeka, UBC News.
Let's now take a short commercial break and be back with more news tonight.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Abantu be Bulova mwena olwako olwaleero tuli wamwe wano ku St Paul Kindergarten nga tukuze kukola ki tuze kuwa muzadde waffe eyawangudde school fees za mwaka mulamba. Kyeyakoze jogajoga yasasuza school fees we n'akozesa school pay bw'atyo n'awangula.
Nasooka kwogera amannya ga mwana mulala ngende okuwulira ng'asiriikiridde nenooza tewakirizeemu si kituufu ne mugamba nyinawo abaana babiri kyava mbuza omulala yaani ne mubuulira amannya ge n'angamba oyo oli muwanguzi waffe ne MTN Momo wawangudde school fees gwe muwanguzi wa wiiki eno.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You will now enter the draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
Government of Uganda presents Post Buses in Uganda, operated by Posta Uganda. We specialize in professional transport, courier and vehicle hire services across Uganda. Our routes include Kampala Masaka Mbarara Kabale Chisoro, Kampala Mukono Jinja Mbale via Tirinyi Road Soroti Lira, and Kampala Luwero Kamudini Gulu Kitgum. Our main offices are located at the Post Office Head Office on Kampala Road, with booking services available at counters 23 and 24 at the General Post Office. You can also book at designated district post offices along our routes. For inquiries or bookings, please contact us on 0751 684 184. Posta Uganda. We deliver trust.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Education activists have commended the NRM government for the improved infrastructure development in schools and various education reforms. They say that such initiatives will transform the country for global production competitiveness, as these details share with us.
Constructed 102 secondary schools out of the 117 countrywide. The initiative will increase access to education in the underserved areas. At Kangulumira Public Secondary School Kayunga, at least shillings 500 million has been injected to construct a classroom block to cater for the increasing number of students. At the groundbreaking ceremony, Kayunga District Chairperson Andrew Mwonge handed over the contract Wazivazi contractors and the designers, urging him to complete the works within the stipulated time. This coincided with the Thanksgiving ceremony for the just released UCE results. The school head teacher, George Wateta, applauded the NRM for the new curriculum.
Our students can compete with anyone across the region.
I think it is on record that Uganda's education system is one of the most competitive in the Great Lakes region. Yeah, so our students can ably compete.
Accordingly, the curriculum received mixed reactions, its implementation and poor interpretation by the public.
The layout is okay, the pedagogical approaches are good. The only challenge is the facilitation. The new curriculum requires hands-on. There are many things that we need to acquire as a school to be able to facilitate learning, but sometimes because of the little funding that we get, we are unable to have such things.
The Director of Studies at Wanyange Girls Secondary School says the new lower secondary curriculum is manageable, but needs serious sensitization on mindset change.
Upon the Ugandans, more especially the parents and the teachers, to accept change. Let us support the Ministry of Education, the NCDC, to implement this curriculum. All Ugandans will benefit.
She grants us all the wisdom and beauty of Wanyange Hill.
Compared to other years, numbers of secondary schools celebrated exceptional performance in Result 1.
We happen to be among the best 400 schools in this country, whereby all our 104 students that search for UCE results excelled. They all passed and they scored between A and C.
"50 young women trained from the Women Income Generation Opportunities Initiative have started a journey to economic empowerment and self-sufficiency. The training aims to provide educational solutions to semi-urban and rural-based Ugandan women in Uganda. Let's have a look.
50 younger women from the Women Income Generation Opportunities Initiative, WIGOI, proudly graduated, marking a significant milestone in their journey towards economic empowerment. This innovative project, supported by Capital Solutions Limited and the Men's Stiff Tank, aims to provide 360-degree educational solutions to semi-urban and rural-based young women in Uganda.
We have also launched the new cohort for 2025, which is going to be 50 young women to be nurtured in the same way as those who have graduated. We are also celebrating a new initiative enabling young women become entrepreneurs in Uganda. We are selecting 100 additional women, 70 from the metropolitan Kampala and 30 from Soroti, to help them build their businesses and be able to design powerful businesses to scale and create employment and also solve the problems that we are facing in Uganda.
Dr. Joyce Tamare, CEO of Capital Solutions Limited, says the initiative's overall objective is to enhance the vocation and career skills of these young women, enabling them to identify job opportunities, improve their employability, and increase their revenue generation.
I would like to encourage anybody designing a product on finance, think about the challenges young women have. Young women have businesses, but they don't have collateral. Collateral is what is needed, and yet they don't have. So there are organizations like Capital Solutions that have come up with initiatives like the Social Investment Fund, where you don't need the collateral, but there's that trust that you have built and has enabled people access finance.
The graduation ceremony was attended by the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development Permanent Secretary, Agri Chibeng. In a message read by Caroline Rukundo Benda, noted that the government ran several programs to economically develop livelihoods for women,
which is called GROW, and is growing opportunities for women in Uganda. It is worth 200 million project, and it is focusing on women entrepreneurs. And when we talk of women, we are looking at also young women entrepreneurs.
We were able to launch our products, to take them to different selling points, like supermarkets. In Mpigi, we have them in Kadunabi supermarkets.
I work in Chireka, so I started with something small in my house, just an oven. I also have a blender, so it's a small scale for now. But as we expand, I joined the incubation center at Chambogo, where I got some space to
produce at a larger amount. So with this, I believe that I'll expand and get my own place as time goes by in the future.
As the 50 graduates, they are equipped with the skills, knowledge, and confidence to make a meaningful impact in their communities. Robert Katamba for UBC News.
The 2025 Harvest Money Expo has climaxed at Nambole Stadium with over 200 exhibitors in the agricultural sector. Organized by Vision Group in partnership with the Netherlands Embassy, items like tractors for agricultural mechanization, solar panels and crops were on display. Mandela Group of companies with Supreme Flour came through teaching on the dangers of aflatoxins leading to cancer.
This year's Harvest Money Expo 2025. Yeah, today we came in as mainly Mandela Millers, manufacturers of Supreme Flour, the wheat and maize flour. We're exhibiting here, and we've been part of the training. We've been part of those who came to train also. We've had a training session in the morning where we trained people mainly on business survival, how to handle business. And then we went ahead to also give them a hint on aflatoxins. You know, it's the cancer that is killing us today. So as Mandela Group, as Mandela Millers, you know, that's one major thing that we address in our fortified flour. So far it's so good. People are coming here, they are getting more knowledge. We are doing practical testing of the aflatoxins in our stalls. Our uniqueness, I would say, comes from even the packaging itself. Yeah, I wouldn't want to discuss more on what others offer, but if I'm to dip into what we offer, it's quality, it's free from the aflatoxin cancer. So we don't only sell food, but we sell health first. Okay, so once you consume our posho, once you consume our flour, just be aware that you're free from cancer.
And now, in the world of sports, the Vice-Chancellor, Uganda Matters University, Professor Edward Patrick Chamanywa, has pledged Uganda Matters University's continued offer of scholarships and business to sports talented students. This was during the Thanksgiving service where all players of the three teams that represented this university at last the East African University Games in Kenya were appreciated.
Our students.
Uganda Matters University has pledged to continue offering scholarships and bursaries to talented students in sports for the good of Uganda at large. It follows the success offered by the sportsmen and women from the university in the 2024 East African University Games in Kenya.
Providing scholarships, yes, and we are likely to provide more because it is showing value for investment. But what I challenge you to do is to make sure we also develop the female teams. This year we should field a female team in one of the competitions at least. Let there be that starting point. So Umusu, Dean, Sports Committee, the coaches, at least I see basketball is starting to attract females. I don't know if any are with us here to celebrate these wins. I attribute our successes to 5 major factors that I've noticed among you players and the coaches and the university, and one is faith.
The sports tutor and leader of the teams, Henry Mary Lutaya, said Uganda Matters University students did not protest, which later fed them to win a gold medal in football and silver in rugby and basketball.
Thomas Arthur Opio, captain rugby team Uganda Matters University. We call ourselves the Umu Matters. 2024 was a blessed year for us. We were able to travel for the East African University Games in Maseno, in Kenya, and we came out with a silver medal. It wasn't something easy, a long journey that involved so much traveling, a lot of stress at the border, but somehow we were able to come back with something, and it's just the hard work that we put in as a team. with and together with the coaches, the administrators who invested in us. And
the main celebrant, Reverend Father Matthias Mulumba Chizito, said that discipline in sports is key as one learns to relate with others and solving conflicts in a gentle way.
That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Thank you for being a lovely audience with I, Wadulo, Arnold Mark and Dorothy Namuyomba. And for those of you that love soccer, the Serie A League will see us dive into Juventus versus Internacional live on UBC TV. Enjoy.
Test for Juventus this evening. Or will Inter clear in the title race? Star quality on both sides. Who's going to come out on top in the Derby d'Italia?